A slightly philosophical video this week, and the weather showed a different side. The heat was followed by a cool and rainy week in Vienna and Central Europe in general, which resulted in a few postponements and delays to tournaments. Yuri Rodionov was on the road with Roland Berger this week, in Trieste at a challenger in Italy. Here, too, the rain caused some delays at the beginning of the week. Last week, Yuri reached the final at the National Championships in Austria, and he won the doubles competition with his partner Pichler. He had a few matches in a few days, and his hip, which had previously caused us some concern, withstood the strain well. In the first round, Yuri faced the Italian Seppieri, who suffered an injury in the second set, which helped Yuri to reach the second round. There he faced Mate Dodik, a player we have also coached for a considerable time. Yuri lost this match, which was characterized by constant inconsistency on Yuri's part. Sebastian Sorger played a future tournament in the western part of Austria in Tyrol. After the hot temperatures of the last few days, the change in the weather in this mountainous region meant that snow was in sight. And Sebastian Sorger remained successful in Telfs until the release of this video, reaching the semifinals. I will, of course, report on the outcome of the tournament in the next video. Slava Belinsky was in Vienna for another week of practice with an increased focus on fitness. The tennis sessions had to be repeatedly moved indoors due to the weather. When I listen to conversations with interesting people and pick up on things that are actually meant for the general public, my relationship to tennis is always very formative, and I often make a connection to the sport in further thoughts and try to draw conclusions from it. This is also the case with the following story about mankind. Everyone has a certain worldview which is shaped over time as we grow up. In different cultures, however, this worldview is different, and therefore also the way in which we approach things and try to solve them. In our Western culture, the Platonist view of the world is usually very influential. As far as I understand it, this Platonist view is associated with discipline, the idea of shaping things around you according to your own ideas, and, on the whole, a rather technical approach. The Eastern culture is characterized more by a different Dowist worldview. This view is characterized by letting things take their course. An example that is often mentioned is the water that flows and always adapts to the nature it finds. Not forcing anything, but simply trying to observe and use the course of things to your advantage. In the history of mankind, there were periods when the Platonist approach was more successful, and at other times the Dowist approach was the one that was more beneficial to mankind. As so often in life, the right mixture is probably the most effective. The knowledge of this fact and the targeted use of what is necessary in each case would then be very efficient. What does this approach mean in relation to tennis? Especially in the first few years as a beginner and teenager, the Platonistic way is certainly the more effective way. You learn technique, discipline, shape your body, and if you really want to achieve something in this sport, you subordinate everything to a specific goal. However, once you have reached a certain level, this approach alone is no longer conducive to achieving your goals, in my opinion. Especially in competition, Willpower and discipline alone are no longer enough. Having the gift of letting things take their course and waiting for the right moment to take advantage of them can make things a lot easier. But it's not easy if you never learned to live it. That's why a good mixture of these two worldviews is beneficial when growing up. Don't become too rigidly attached to one view, but give both sides a chance to develop. Unconsciously, some world-class athletes probably grow up in the same way and can then automatically call up the necessary mindset at the right moment. Knowing this can't hurt for parents or coaches. The implementation is a different challenge, and I think we are all very challenged in this task. The balance between demanding discipline and giving freedom is important, and very often the aspect that is neglected is giving freedom. But now, enough about this topic. Maybe you can also mention your opinion about it in the comments.